Hey guys, welcome back. So today I am going to show you how to get this look. This is targeted for beginners, so I'm going to go step by step on how I achieve this look, and I will also go over why I'm doing what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, so that hopefully you can learn something and are able to recreate this look. So if you want to see how I achieve this look, then just stay tuned and keep on watching. So the first thing that you want to do is prime your eyelids, and especially if you have oily lids. And the reason you want to do this is because this gives your eyeshadow something to grab onto and makes it easier to blend, to be honest with you, and it also keeps the shadow from melting away and it lasts all day. So same thing with the face. I'm priming my face here, and depending on your skin type is the type of primer that you would use. Then after you're all good and primed, then you're going to move on to foundation. Now I know it looks like this color does not match my face and shoulders, but I have a lot of red tone to my skin, and so once it's blended out and it is, you'll see the rest of the steps, it kind of all evens out and looks really natural. But the purpose is you want to match your foundation to your neck. So do you see how my neck is like super fair, and my skin's just all uneven at this point just from what I've been wearing out in the sun. But so I'm matching my face to my neck, and then I will be bronzing and things like that later on. And so don't worry if you're doing this and you look like you're, you look like you're dead. But I didn't mention, I recommend using a beauty blender that is damp, or any similar sponge that is damp, to blend in your foundation as well as a concealer that you see me putting on here. So you want a concealer that is 1 to 2 shades lighter than your skin, and then position it in those places that you see me putting it. Yes, it looks like a lot of product, but if you use the right one and it's really thin, and you use the beauty blender, it is going to blend it out seamlessly, and you're going to have a nice bright under eye covering your dark circles. You're going to look refreshed, awake, and the beauty blender is going to take away the excess product. So if you accidentally put on too much, don't worry about it. That's why I love the beauty blender. Then I'm taking that same exact damp beauty blender, so I haven't even switched product brushes or anything like that, and I'm popping that straight into some translucent powder, and I am tapping that in, so I'm not rubbing it back and forth, tapping that in to my under eye area where I just placed the concealer. And I'm going to also do that on all the areas that I placed the concealer actually. And that is one of the best ways to set your concealer, to keep it from creasing, to have it last all day. Because really, that's what we're all looking for, is our makeup not to budge. Then I'm taking a little bit of whatever's left in the cap, and I am setting the rest of I can't talk today. I'm setting the rest of my foundation so that, again, it does not budge. And then I'm going to fill in my brows. I will do a whole tutorial on this because this is a little bit more complex, but you want to fill in your brows. I like this new brow definer pencil from Anastasia. It is thicker than the brow is, and so it takes a little bit less time. But basically you want to fill in sparse areas, and then I like to brush it out after I filled it in to give it a more natural look. Then I'm taking this color, Soft Brown from MAC, and a big fluffy brush. And the reason I'm taking this color is because I want to use it as a transition color. And what that means is it's going to help you blend out the other darker colors, and you don't want it, so the transition color, you want it to be very similar to your skin tone, or maybe a shade darker. Then I'm moving on to this other color, Brown Script, I'm pretty sure that is, and I am placing that on the outer V of my eye. And so The purpose of this is to give more definition to your eye. It gives more definition, and this particular technique gives you more of an almond shape eye, more elongated. It's just a very pretty look in my opinion. I use this technique a lot. I personally love the way it looks. And so you're placing the product on the outer V, and whatever's left on the brush, bring it inward into the crease. And depending on your eye shape is where you're going to want to place that product. I go slightly above my crease because I have hooded eyes. Then you're going to blend that all out with that big fluffy brush so that it's nice and seamless. And then I'm going to go to a dark brown color. So we went from light to medium to dark. And this is Mystery for MAC. And again, I'm doing the same thing. I took a little bit of a smaller definition brush and I'm placing that in the outer V, and I'm not placing that as high as the medium brown, so slightly lower, more defined into the crease. Same exact thing, but just a darker brown. So you're basically layering the colors and giving it dimension and then blending them out so you can't really see where one starts and one stops. It just looks like a nice, beautiful, blended dream. And another tip is really, start off slow, obviously, but if you wanted to like turn this into a night look, for example, you can put more of that dark brown to the intensity that you like to make it a more dramatic look. So it really just depends what you're going for. Then I'm taking a lid color that is a really oldie but goodie. This is All That Glitters, and I'm taking a smaller brush, flat brush, and I'm placing that on my lids. That makes your lids pop, makes you look more awake. Then I'm taking Shroom by MAC, and I am using that ever so slightly right by my brow bone just to give it a nice highlighted effect. And what that will do is give your eye a more lifted look. You don't have to use a shimmer. This has a little shimmer. You can use a matte, any kind of matte light color would work as well. And this one's really subtle, so I like to use this one. And definitely pop it on the inner corner of your eyes when you're done, because that is going to make a huge difference and make you look awake, alive, and it's just a beautiful effect. So then you want to move on to your lower lash line. And if you have a pencil brush or a small brush that you can smudge, take that medium brown that you used and smudge it very close to your lower lash line. And what I'm doing here is I'm taking it all the way from the outward corner to the inward corner. Then I'm taking a little bit of the dark brown Mystery, and I am just placing that on the outer part of the lower lash line. So I'm kind of blending it into the darkness on the top and drawing it outwards into the middle of the lower lash line, if that makes any sense. And again, that's going to give you that almond cat eye effect. Then I'm taking the lightest brown I used with a very small fluffy brush, and the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is I'm just blending all those colors out so it just looks seamless. So now we're going to do a tiny bit of contouring. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit. There's so many contour kits and colors in the drugstore that you can use. And what you want to do is either make a fishy face or find your cheekbone and just place a tiny bit of the color under there. You also want to place it on the forehead where I'm placing it, on the high points of the forehead by the hairline, and also to the jawline. So if you think of making a 3 on the side of your face with the contour, or even with a bronzer that's going to go over this, that'll kind of help you remember where to put it. So looking at my face, going from the top all the way down to my cheekbones, and then kind of making that other 3 going down to my jawline. Then I'm taking some Hoola bronzer with that same brush, so I'm not really using a lot of different brushes here. And I'm just doing a little bit more warming up the face, giving it a little bit more dimension. So really I'm just bronzing. And I was checking on the camera because it kept dying, so sorry about that, but I wanted to make sure it was still recording. But anyway, so as you can see already, even though I looked dead before, the foundation looks natural, and it just looks like it matches my neck and my body. So again, so don't worry about how the foundation looks at the beginning. And then I'm just taking a little bit of this blush color in the Jaclyn Hill Becca palette, but you can use any blush color that you like. I just felt like using this one today, and I'm just tapping that very so gently on my cheeks and bringing that upwards where I bronzed and blending that in. Then if you would like to highlight, you're going to want to highlight on the high points of your cheekbone, so right there. And you can always start with very little bit and build it up to the intensity that you want. So, you know, it's harder to take it off if you put too much on, because some highlights are really intense. So I always start very slow and then kind of build it up as I want, as far as the intensity that I'm looking for. So those are the kind of main points that you would highlight. So the high point of the cheekbone right there. I do put a little bit above my brow, almost in like a C motion. I like to highlight the tip of my nose and my Cupid's bow. That just gives your lips a little bit of a fuller look. Then what I'm doing here, you can skip this step if you like, but I wanted to show you options. I'm taking a brown kohl pencil. I think this is Coffee from MAC. It's one of my favorites. It's very creamy. And I am putting it in the upper waterline, so I'm tight lining, and I'm putting it in the lower waterline. And the reason I am doing that, it gives it more intensity, and with tight lining, it makes your lashes look a lot thicker. So when you put on mascara, it just gives it a really, really nice effect. If you're not going to do the lower lash line, I'm sorry, the lower waterline, then I definitely recommend you at least tight line, because again, your lashes will look a lot thicker. And I use brown in this look because it is definitely more natural than using black. Then you want to curl your lashes before you apply mascara. And when you apply mascara, you want to go to the roots, all the way down to the roots of your eyelashes, and kind of wiggle it and drag it upwards. So you want to try to get all the hairs. And there are a ton of really good mascaras. So it really just depends on what you're looking for. Fuller lashes, longer lashes, and then you want to make sure that you also do the lower lashes. Then what I'm doing here is I am lining my lips, and the reason I'm doing this is it's just going to give it a more precise look once I put on my lipstick and lip gloss. And it also kind of gives it a more fuller look to the lips. I'm not overlining or anything. And I think that was Spice from MAC. And then I'm just using Viva Glam to, I really like this color. It's very natural. And just putting some lipstick on. Nothing fancy here. And I decided to put a little bit of butter gloss. I think that's a NYX Butter gloss over it. So I'm not putting too much. I'm just tapping a little bit. I wanted it to look a little bit glossy. So that gives you options. You don't have to do this part. And here is the completed look. Hair done and all. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and that you were able to learn something. And if you want a list of any of the products or any other tutorials, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.